Hey, what's going on, guys? Just wanted to jump on, make a quick video. Um, we have quite a lot that went down this week, as I've already kind of shown you, but I wanted to take it a little bit step further, really get a look at the pairs that we picked and the big moves that we saw or didn't see. Okay, so yesterday I'd mentioned USD JPY. Kind of, we've gone over this a million different times because it's such a good example of a strong moving pair. We saw it retrace yesterday. We're seeing that it's maybe a lot of downward pressure, and maybe it's time for it to take a quick breather. I'm looking at weekly and monthly. We're at the beginning of the month of January, so remember that this bar for the weekly is made up of 1 week. This bar for the monthly is made up of today is the 4th, so 4 days worth of data. So you got to take that with a grain of salt, is what I'm saying. I really want to start my analysis on the monthly, looking at the previous months, on the weekly, looking at the previous weeks, which is typically no different, but it really, doesn't hold as much weight right now because we're at the top of the year, and you want to make sure that you're keeping a filter of some sort relative to the time frame you're looking at. So on the daily, we saw yesterday a huge move, big tail here, and then it was not able to make that new low. It was not able to make reach new levels as far as closing out there. So when you see a long tail, either up or down, that means it tried to push there, but it ultimately ended up closing above that level that it actually reached. And then we have a bullish candle for today so far, which is significant. Pay attention to that. We haven't had a bullish candle like that in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days since we've had one. And before that one that came, there was a string of days where there wasn't one either. So just from week standpoint, we're looking at 2 weeks in a row where it was completely bearish, and then this week looking bearish as well. Anyways, just good to keep that in mind, understanding where we are in the market and what's likely to happen type of thing. I'm looking at the 4-hour chart right now. Looks like there might be an entry a couple days ago. Actually, this is today, 1, 2, 3 days ago. So maybe I'll look at the 1-hour chart and see where that entry is, or if there was one. And it looks like there might have been one right here. This is on the 1st, so on New Year's Day. If you really wanted to, after these weird looking bars, you see how they're all, I don't know what the word is for this. If someone wants to hit the comment section and tell me what this really is and what this is representing, it doesn't look healthy to me. It doesn't look like something I want to base a trade off of. So yeah, there's an entry right here, and it's very clean. And on top of that, it worked out based on stop losses and everything. So I don't know, man. It's difficult that way. Let me fix this price to bar ratio. Let's see if this is how I want to do it. Yeah, that is it. So I had to turn on the settings, scale price chart only. Man, this is like anything else. You play around with the settings, find what works for you, and then you'll be able to move through this stuff a lot quicker and easier. Anyways, short right here at the pivot line, and then we want to take that. This is going to be just above. We're inherently better than 1-to-1, so that's good. My target might be something like this. Initial target, that's only 1.5 risk reward ratio. Typically not something I'm really looking for because it's not enough meat on the bone. But if I wanted to, I put an alert right here. And if we're still in this trade, we would be right here right now. So 2-to-1 risk reward. That's where we would have landed. That's how we would have played this. Interesting stuff. Stuff to consider. That entry just wasn't like the bars that led up to it didn't make sense for me. So that's why I didn't and haven't wouldn't say that I'd recommend a play like that. Overall, the market looks fine. It did break the 50 EMA, which is usually a sign of a pullback, or I'm sorry, a trend change. So since we've been bearish for a while, maybe it's time for us to have a quick bullish pullback, maybe to a key level like right in here, and then we go down further. I don't know. It's just going to depend on a lot of different things. Messed up my charts here. Hold on, guys. Auto fit data to screen. Let's try that one. Man, I promise sometimes it feels like I'm a beginner when I jump on this stuff. See if I can draw a fib level. I think I can. I'll stop it right in here. Since that was the first like breathing point. I look for a breathing point, so I want to measure this leg, obviously, this bearish leg, but I also want to stop it based on an area where the market breathed or took a breath or whatever. So I'd say right here, and then we go back here. I got that wrong. Hold on. Gotta draw it the other way. So it's gonna look like this. I only know that I was drawing it the wrong way because my extension wasn't where I wanted it to go. So maybe my extension is like this. So we blasted through the extension. And I've told you guys a million times that I love this level. I love trading off of it. And, you know, considering it a really, really good level to take the other direction because we're overextended here. And maybe it's time to take that breather. We come back to 0, or maybe we come back to 618. We're going to see. That's really the long and the short of it. Let me see if I can show these other ones. That's why I didn't do it the way I wanted it to. Anyways, no worries. 382. I show those levels. So yeah, if it comes back to 50% retracement, then we're going to be right in here. Let me show you guys. Make sure you guys can see this. No, didn't want to show levels percent. Okay, there we go. So 50% retracement, meaning 50% of the move that happened, it came back. This is 100% of the move, so we're measuring 100% of this leg. This obviously 127, 141. That's a percentage of beyond the initial starting point, the initial leg, the initial finish of the leg that it went. So I look for a pullback. We noticed that there's a pullback. This is what I like seeing, and what's really interesting is notice the 618 level. Notice how I did not draw it with the 618 level in mind. I drew it from the beginning of the move to where I thought that the market stopped and took a breather, meaning that it pulled back. So when I was lining this up, I wasn't looking at 618. 618 happened to be right in this area. And therefore, when the pullback happened, notice how it stopped right there on a dime. This lets me know that Fibonacci is something that other people are trading, and that's why there's like a popular consensus around those levels and what happens. I will admit 127 and 141, these are levels that I've started to notice. I don't think a whole ton of people trade these, but I think there is an overall feel for when a market is overbought or oversold, and this is showing that the market has been oversold, meaning overly bearish, and it might be time to go ahead and pull back. That sign, along with the fact that this bar shows that the market tried to take it down but wasn't able to, hence the close up here, but the tail went all the way down here. So the price went down here before the actual bar closed right here. All right. I'm going to try to fly through these other pairs, man, but that's a really, really good learning opportunity. And sometimes that matters more than finding, you know, the next trade or whatever. Again, if I want to get into extended levels and all that good stuff, I can point at this fib, try to extend this out. I'm on the monthly. Let me go somewhere else where it might be a little more visible how I drew it. I usually draw it like on the daily or Here we go. Okay, so right here, right where this is B. So it's kind of, I'm showing you that there was like a pullback, not the beginning of a new trend or anything, but yeah, there's a pullback here. And so I measured this leg that started right here, and we dropped down to here. There's a lot on the chart right now. Let me know if it's too much, because I can knock it down further. That's not a big deal. But okay, this is that leg, and I want to extend it over just so that we can see how it might play over here relative to the other, or to the current trend. So what I saw here is this is like a rollover. This happened in October. It's changing trend. It took it all the way down. We went beyond overly sold, and we came back. We tested some key levels. We broke through 50 EMA, which is a big deal on the daily chart. I keep saying that all the time. But then recently we came back. This is right around Christmas. We came back and touched these overextended levels. And then we touched the really extended level, the 127 or 141. I think this is 141. There's a 127. It doesn't matter really. It's overextended. I know it is the red level. Yeah, 414. We touched that area, and we bounce. Looks like we're trying to bounce off of it. We'll see what happens. MACD doesn't really show anything other than a double top, which already was acted on, and then I'm looking for an entry if there really is a rollover. So it looks like today we broke 50 EMA on the 4-hour chart, which is a big deal. Maybe this is the beginning of a pyramid reversal play, and the end of this pyramid would be up here, and the consideration for me to get out of a trade is going to be right in this area. So I got plenty of room to get in and make some money here. But I'm going to have a bounce off of a blue line along with the 50 EMA. So I'm going to look for that next week. Today's Friday, so I'll be looking for that Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Hopefully getting in, around that time for a play there. So this is going to stay on the list, and I'll go ahead and point an arrow up because it is showing signs that it wants to bounce up and land. I'll be looking for it to land right in here for the first profit target, and I'll just put the plus there, like I said, like I like doing. Put the plus there, get an alert if it goes beyond that level. I keep watching it. I'll put another alert at another price level. I'll bulletproof the trade, meaning that I take the stop loss and shrink it down to break even. So now we're only worried about making profit, and that'll be the only play, is to actually make profit or break even if it goes against us, which is fine. And also a very fun way to trade, stress-free way to trade pretty much. And a lot of the stuff that I'm teaching is really heavy on the entry base. You guys haven't seen me manage a trade yet because I don't have money to trade yet. But this is keeping me sharp, and you guys are going to get to see the whole journey. There's people who wonder, like, hey, should I be paper trading while I'm trying to get my first 10 grand saved up, 50 grand, whatever it is, 20 grand. My opinion is no, don't paper trade. Because paper trading gives you a really bad false confidence. I only say that because that's kind of how I started, was paper trading. And when it was time for me to go live, I was still kind of playing it the same way, with half-assed strategies, with not really having an edge, with lying to myself and saying there's opportunities that weren't really there, just because I was itching to make trades and to prove that I was a good trader, so to speak. But being a good trader, a lot of it has to do with your analysis. A lot of it has to do with, why are you entering? Why are you not taking certain trades? Are you willing to miss out? Do you experience FOMO, fear of missing out, so much to the point that you can't just sit still? This is sniping, where we are sniping. That's the style that I was taught, and that's the style that I feel like I've perfected at this point. And so I'm trying to show you guys the mentality behind it, not necessarily, hey, I'm making a ton of money right now today with this, you should do it too. because that's kind of getting played out of making trading like this big macho thing. But really, it's a game of finesse. It's a game of being able to set traps, being able to snipe. All right, I'm done with that rant. I should have did the zoom in lens on that one so y'all could really see me. Weekly, 3 weeks in a row, we've been up on the British pound. We're coming up against, that's why I did this the other day. We're coming up against a 50 MA, but we're getting stuffed. And that's one of those things. We're going to have to break through that level in order for me to take this long. So right now, no, there's not really much of a play here. We are overextended based on this leg that I drew in. It's a really good drawing again. I really do like this one. Notice that I didn't put, so this leg is the one I'm talking about. You see all this green? These are all entries that I identified on the 1 hour chart. It's absolutely amazing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different entries. Those green horizontal lines are entries. It's crazy. But this is the power of the pyramid reversal strategy. Once you identify and understand that a level is overbought or oversold and that it's due to bounce from that level, and when it does bounce off of that level, like up in here, you're like locked and loaded, ready to start making your trades. And obviously you have a certain, the market is leaning a certain way and it's in your favor. If you can identify that first piece, that's like the first piece of the trade. Then you start looking for really, really good entries. And now it's a game of, hey, can I get a good entry? Drawing this fib, what I was going to say here is I did not put it right here. I did not put it back here where there was a green bar, even though this is like a break in the market or like it taking a breather, but not necessarily a pullback, is how I look at that. Anyways, this was the pullback. This is it taking a rest. This is it actually getting ready to go down further, and then it started stair stepping. And these entries are crazy too, I'm sure. I'm sure there's plenty of entries right in here. Not as clean as this, obviously, but yeah, there's entries here. And I like to see that because it makes these entries back here way more valuable whenever we see this. We combine that with the fib and knowledge of the fib. And then off of this, man, think of if I would have took a trade off of this red level. Just that alone is super valuable. There's this strategy that I'm thinking about playing, and it's called, looking for a reversal off of those extended levels. I do favor a bearish market going into other reversals and things like that, or the beginning of a bearish market. I like that type of stuff. I don't know why. I can just pick it pretty well because I see it, because I look for it so much. Anyways, if I get in right here, and let's say my stop loss is like down here because it's reasonable, but we're already extended, so I know that we don't have a whole lot to go. And for some reason, I can pick that. We drill into the 1 hour chart, and I see that my stop loss needs to be right in here. That's fine. Okay, so I'm at a 5-to-1 right here. And that's me taking it all the way to this key level, this orange horizontal bar. And we would have hit that. We didn't go far beyond it. We got stuffed at the 200 EMA, this pink line. But still, to be able to pick that pretty easily. And it would have been, this is a daily chart, so it would have took a while to get there. We're saying from the 15th of August to the 20th of September. So a month to make 5%. That's a long-term trade. But, maybe within there's several trades to be had. Maybe there's a combo to be had right here. Maybe there's like a mini pyramid right here. Not really what I typically try to do again, but it's something I'm wanting to develop, which is bouncing off of those extended fibs, this yellow and this red line, in order to catch that reversal area. But obviously I want to get out. You see what happened here. I would have got stopped out if I would have just kept the position and held it or whatever, looking for it to pull all the way back. Anyways, interesting stuff to look at, man. You know what the hell? We might as well look at it. Let's see if there's really a, I wonder if I can find pivot points. Yeah, let me take these pivot points and put a shoot, put a lot of these out there. Now I can kind of see. Okay, that was a good call. So I want a couple more pivot points though. I do want to do a couple more pivot points. Let's do 115. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to the 1 hour chart because that's where I like to enter off of anyways. This is personal preference. And we're gonna drill in and kind of see if there's some no-brainer type of entries here. I don't think there is. I wouldn't expect there to be. But, some of the stuff maybe. Right here, for sure. Let me draw this shit in. Boom, right there. Oops. That is not what I wanted. Yeah, this one right here. Boom. I gotta change the colors up. It was red from the other day when I saw that losing trade, and I pretty much called it out. This would have been a losing trade right here. If I want to enter it right there, boom, we're still out. That's where it's kind of tricky, right? Because also think about it. If I get in early, I'm more likely to not get stopped out. If I get in up here, I'm likely to get stopped out. Why am I likely to get stopped out up here? Because I'm not really in the zone. I'm by the yellow, but I'm not by the red. I want to be right by this red, way extended, like super overextended. That's what I like. I actually want something like back in here, even like making it actually overlap like this is ideal. Anyways, I wouldn't even be looking to trade all the way up here. This is maybe, man, maybe. I gotta back test and really see because there's opportunities, but you want to do it. You want to make it as safe as possible, man, because this you want to keep your capital. Don't do what I did and try the whole options thing and wipe out your account because of that. I started with options. I understand options. I just did not go into that battle with the necessary amount of ammunition. That's the real truth behind it. And I'm weird about that. And we'll have talks about it, but I really don't think that people realize how much money you should probably have in order to trade options, especially if you're trying to like live off of that money. That's kind of where I got jacked up. Anyways, yeah, some interesting stuff going on with this one. I like it, and it's kind of identified a new strategy for me that I could play around with and try to see. There's a couple entries: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the best entry, obviously, because it's at the beginning of the move. Always want to get in early. I'd rather get in early and lose 1% than get in late, think I know what I'm doing, and something like that on a new strategy. And it's just not a good look. This one, beautiful, touched and moved. It touched and go right here on this Euro AUD. I think that's why I initially brought it to y'all's attention, is how beautifully it rejected that level and kept moving. That's crazy. I'm gonna turn down the amount of pivot points. I can do less than, okay, let's try 50. When I put less stuff on the chart, it's better for my charting software. And even still, it feels like I got a lot I know. Um, but really, let's think about what all I have on my charting. It's these lines. So this is a 50. Infinite prosperity suggests you have a 20 moving average, so the blue line as well. I just do it a 200 and a 50. That's it. That's all I need at this point. You should start exactly how you feel the most comfortable, whether that's using my setup or using infinite prosperities. But I've got three different indicators. That's it: pivot points, EMAs, 50 and 200, and then I've got I'm sorry, those three plus one more MACD, because MACD shows you the direction that is being favored. That's it. This is drawn. This is a drawn line. Okay, I'm sorry, that's not it. 1, 2, 3, 4 plus fib. So we do fibs, and then these horizontal lines, they don't count because I'm drawing that in. I'm drawing these vertical lines, they represent entries. I'm drawing these trend lines, they represent stuff. The trend lines represent trends. The arrows represent where I think the market is heading. On most instances, sometimes I'm pointing out a perfect touch like this, and I need to put one right here. So yeah, it's not a whole lot on the screen. We can get rid of everything too, like that. Get rid of all drawing tools so that we can kind of see clearly what's going on here. It's nice to do every once in a while, but it doesn't really distract me. That's what I've kind of concluded. I realize it doesn't distract me much because I'm looking for very, very specific things most of the time. There's some entries here, but it's just not like, none of these are really, really clean entries, really clean situations. I'll say that. So this is the day after, a couple days after Christmas. I pointed down here, thinking that we were going to go down. We went up, so I would have lost 1% right here. I was a little early. I was right, but I was early here. Yep. Okay, I see what I thought was going to happen. I thought it was going to come up here, bounce off the pivot, and go down because of this MACD. We were definitely downward bias. We keep drawing this all the way down, so we're downward bias here. But you're not right every time. You know, I wasn't right. I was looking for a rollover, and we rolled over, but it was later on. Took a couple more days than I thought. Just fine. I'll live with that. Okay, so the point's proven here. Euro AUD looked like a very, very pretty touch and go. The only thing is, entry wise, there's only a handful of them. I saw, well, literally two here that I already drew in, and they're not the cleanest in the world. This one, like after the fact, yeah, I can pick a trade like this and say, ooh, that went up. But think about getting into the trade. So what that would mean is, let me block this off. That would mean that stopping right here, would I take this trade long? And my answer personally, since there wasn't like a big pullback and comeback for it to bounce off of this level, there wasn't a big swoop like this or a big level and then a pullback for me to take that up. It's 50-50. It's more like 70-30 in favor of not taking something like this as something that I saw coming. So that is what it is. Maybe my skill needs to go up. Maybe that's what it is. CADJPY. This one has been going down for the past couple weeks, I believe it was. Yeah, several weeks. It's been having like some real bearish pressure on it. And then the daily, yeah, it's there, man. But it's probably time to have gotten out of that. There were some big wins here. Big wins here. and entries that I could have taken that I did not. Like, let me see. This right here, this happened on the 2nd. That's an entry. This is an entry. This is the day before. They just kind of stayed at that level though, man. I don't know if I saw that the first time right in here. Like, is this 3 days in a row? This is, hold up, man. First, second. Nah, it's only 2 days. I wonder why it's doing like that. It's my timer. No, I got it on here. Yeah, it's just kind of hard to see because this green line, this blue line, these are they're literally at the same level. So it would have been kind of hard to tell. Anyways, yeah, we're super overextended. Maybe coulda, woulda, shoulda, maybe took that. Who knows? That's a hard call though, because it's like, yeah, we're already way overextended. I don't know, because you're really trying to thread the needle on that situation. Because you already know you're overextended. You already know that we're about to roll over and go bullish, but there is potential to make money quickly, right there. Let's see why I highlighted this one. Rollover. I'm looking for a swing in the next direction, a bullish swing, and we broke key level. Looks like we're turning over a new leaf. MACD is hella high right here, so yeah. Super reversal candle if I've ever seen one. Holy crap, that's crazy. I'm gonna look for it to break 50 MA on daily and also on 4 hour. It already did on 4 hours, so if we pull back and there's like an entry next week somewhere in here with a green or with a blue and the red lined up, I'm gonna take that up. That's just how that is. And the answer, as far as my profit target is going to go, is going to be this key level and this trend line. I need to have like a lesson on key levels soon. That will be coming. I promise that. And so we are bullish. And I think that's NZDCAD. No, we got a couple more. All right, here we go. Let's see. I'm looking for that drop off. I've been looking for it for a couple days. It's already happened. The big move happened 2 days ago. On the 2nd, big move happened. Where's that 50 break? So we saw the 50 break here. So then my entry is going to be here. It really wasn't there. 50 entry here on the blue line didn't happen there. Just because we haven't had it converge, but we have it right now, real time. It's time to get in. This is it. This is a sign to get in. And that trade would look like this. And that's just me keeping it real with you. Take it down there for fun right here. And I'm going to go above the key level so that I'm super protected. And let me see if I can make a better, you know what, I'm going to extend this so that we can see it better on the higher time frames. So if I go to daily chart, this is a good profit target. It really is, because I'm going to have to break that area. Only thing that I don't like is the fact that we haven't broke this 50 MA. So that's a risk. That's a risk if you get in right now. There's a risk that we will not break the 50 MA on the daily chart, and we'll bounce off of that level, which is right in here. We'll bounce off of that level here. I'll show you that I know what I'm talking about here. I want to make sure that you feel confident in my ability to tell you exactly what's going on and why. So I drew this just now, right now. I'll even change the color of it so you can see. I'm pulling your leg. Let's make it sky blue. So if I go to 1 hour, you're going to see that we're coming right up against the 50 MA. This is the 50 MA of the daily chart, which is this red line. You can't see it on the 1 hour chart because this is the 1 hour, this 50 MA is based on and calculated based on the 1 hour bars, not the daily. Big difference. Anyways, if we bounce off of that level, then we might go beyond this. And then maybe that messes up my entry and messes up this first opportunity to get in. Maybe we're a little too early, is what I'm saying. There are ways around this. Maybe we say here, or maybe we push our stop loss way up here, because even if it can, it bounces and plays around in it before it breaks it, I doubt that it's going to like reach these levels. Another key tip that I need to go over that I haven't spoken about, you always want to have a risk-reward ratio of at least 1 to 1. So that's not going to work for me here. 1.3, risk 1%. I'm in super duper early. And if I'm right, then I've got, let's see, this is where the move really started here. So maybe I'm in here. And just to be a little more conservative, I'll go to the previously overextended levels. So we look at something like this, 5%. And if I want to be even more conservative, this is the fib of previous times where it started, where the other leg down ended or whatever. And we have a 3% trade still. So whatever. Do you, do what you want. I do think that this is a beauty right here. This is an absolute beautiful trade. I'm going to point down like that. Zoom out. Get rid of this because we don't need it. It's not a key level. Just wanted to use it as a placeholder and show you where the pressure is. So there's pressure there. You want the pressure on the other side of where you're trying to trade. You want your pressure to land between your entry and your stop loss so that you have momentum to take it to your profit target. That's the key. That's a very big key. Major key, as Khaled says. Daily. This is rollover. So I was looking for rollover, meaning we're trend changing, going back up. And I feel like we went up and then we're pulling down right now. Obviously, we're pulling down. And that happened over the past handful of days. If I zoom out, you can see 1, 2, 3. Big reversal bar right here. Oh my gosh. I could have played this pullback and made money off of it. It's such a big reversal bar. Let's see if this is a level that was hit previously or a previously important area. It would look something like this. So what I'd like to do is draw it when I see it. Let me change the default color of this back to orange. This is how I figure out my key levels, is based on a big bar like that. It's like, man, they're coming up against some kind of barrier that I don't know about. Some price action. You want to see if there was like a lot of price pausing before moving beyond that level. There is. There's a little bit of it here. See if there's anything in the past that was big. This area, so we're really playing with the area. Whenever you have an area like that, what you can draw is a channel, and your channel looks like this. Oops. Let me see. A channel looks like this. This is what I like to do with channels. Have something like that. Get rid of that one. Bring it down a little bit. Something like this, man. So I'm looking for stuff that's making moves right in this area. This is ish. I like to look at MACD to see if we had that same signal. Man, this is how crazy MACD is. Look at this. There's a double top, and then there was a double top later, after the fact that it was already identified or whatever. So that's pretty interesting, man. Okay. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens here. Yeah. But it looks like it's taking a big breather, a little bit more of a breather than I thought. It's worth watching to try to learn from that one. I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but yeah. Let's see. USD CHF, we're overextended. We're kind of still chilling at a low level. Um, Looks like I had a trade that I put here that didn't quite work out, or wouldn't have worked out if I would have took it and just sat there on it. Yeah, interesting. Hmm. Too sloppy, man. I have so many more better trades, and then I got all my option stuff. We'll go over that one day. I got to get good at something first, right? Options. I made good money. I did. I had a couple days. I made 2 grand. A couple days I made 4 grand. But the problem was is I kept losing like small losses, eating away, and then I'd have to transfer out of my account so I could pay my little 3 grand for my bills or whatever, and then another 1,000 for bills actually. So 3 grand for rent, 1,000 or so for bills, and it just wasn't a combination that worked out. It just didn't work out, and that's what it is, man. But that's why I'm doing it this way. That's why I'm showing the whole journey. There's nothing to be ashamed of. This is I probably got a lot more in common with a lot of folks than the guys who are supposedly killing it. And there's a million trading courses out there right now, and I'm sure those dudes are doing good and stuff, but they're not really showing um, the exact journey from putting yourself in the shoes of your guys who are just getting into it. So if you're just getting into it, you can do the same things I'm doing right now for free charts. No money being traded, no paper trading, no falsifying, all that, none of that. It's just learning and understanding how to analyze and how to pick your spots. So that's where we're at, man. Sorry, it was another long video. Had to do it though. I'm passionate about this. I can talk about it all day. So y'all have a good weekend. I'll be back next week. Peace.